All right, second semester cumulative review, chapter 8, similarity. Solve the proportions. Okay, when you do this, remember, you're basically cross multiplying and dividing. Try this again. So you're getting 3x, 3 times x equals 8 times 72, which is 576. Divide both sides by 3. X is 192. Remember, anytime you see a binomial, make sure you put in parentheses. So when you write this, you don't write 8x plus 6. The most common mistake is to write 8x plus 6. It's 8 times x and 8 times 6. Okay? Now I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides, which would give me 16x equals 48. Divide by 16, x is 3. Again, on number 3, you have parentheses that should be applied so you don't mess up the distribution. So it's going to be 10 times x plus 22. So that's 10x plus 10 times 22, which is 220. And 30 times x and 30 times 2. All right. Now, I'm going to move my x's to the right because I like to keep my x's positive. It doesn't really matter. Which means I'm going to move my numbers to the left. You could move your numbers right and your letters to the left. It does not matter. So those cancel, those cancel. What it gives me is 220 minus 60 is 160 equal to 20x. Divide by 20, x is 8. Decimals make no difference. Same concept. You have calculators, just use them. 3y equals 9 times 18.2, which is 163.8. Divide by 3, y is 54.6. Remember, you can stop or pause anytime you want to. List all pairs of congruent angles and write a proportion that relates corresponding sides. Okay? Remember the trick here is it says PQRS is similar to TUWX. So I'm going to put TUWX just like that. And that tells me right there, angle P, okay, it's congruent to angle T. And angle Q is congruent to angle U. And angle R is congruent to angle W. And angle S is congruent to angle X. They're just lined up. And now the sides, PQ and TU. Okay, PQ, TU. The same way, QR and UW. QR and UW. And then RS and WX. And then just front to back, PS or SP, doesn't matter, and TX. Okay, same little trick. I'm going to write BCD. Notice they share C. You can see that right there. Okay, so that tells me angle A is congruent to angle B. Angle C is congruent to itself. And angle E is congruent to angle D. Now, the other trick is AC, BC. So we say AC corresponds to BC. The same way CE and CD. And front to back, AE, BD. Simple enough. All right, each pair of polygons is similar. Find the value of x. Okay, now this is kind of a tricky one. You got to pay attention to where the markings are. Okay, and sometimes it helps to give it letters. You don't have to, but sometimes it helps. So I have A, B, C, D, E, F. See how B has one mark on it? And D has one mark on it? That means B and D line up. And C has two marks on it, and so does F. And then A has nothing, and E has nothing. So that tells me those triangles. Now, when I'm trying to see what X corresponds to, that's AC. Well, that means it corresponds to EF. So X corresponds to 9. The same way, now we got to figure out, does the 8 or the 10 go with the 12? Well, the 12 is DE, which means we need to look for BA, which is 8. So 8 is on the smaller triangle, just like X, and 12. And now we just do what we did earlier. 12x equals 72. So x equals 6. Okay, this one you really don't need to trick with because you can see this point and this point both have 1. Those both have a 2, 3, 4. They're already lined up the way they should be. So no tricks here. X and 4.5. Okay. And then the 2.5 doesn't help us, but the 5 and the 10. Now be careful, remember, X is on the small shape, is on top, so 5 should be here. Now, as I've said, you can also set up a word wall and say like, this is my small, this is my big, and X and 4.5 is my left side, and then the bottom, whatever, to help you line everything up. There's also a shortcut to this one, but we'll do the long way first. So that's going to be 10x equals 5 times 4.5, which is 22.5. Divide by 10, which is just going to move the decimal one place to the left, x equals 2.25. Now, if you notice the shortcut, this is exactly half of this, which means x is half of 4.5. So $4.50 is $2.25 split in two. Okay. 9, we're just doing kind of similar thing here. Okay. Now, I like to, on these, bust out the triangles. So this triangle, we're fine on right here. Okay. But the bigger one, since our numbers are a little bit different, I like to bust this out like so. So here's F, here's N, and here's P. Okay, so Fn is 30 plus 10, which is 40. This is still 22. And this is 32 plus x. Okay? So, now there's two ways to do this problem. We can do 40 and 30 and 32 plus x and 30. All right? And that would give us 40 times 30, which is 1200, equals 30 times 32, okay, which is 960 plus 30x I just made a boo-boo. I think I may have even said 32, but I wrote 30. So this is 32, which gives us actually 1280. Okay. And then I subtract the 960 and get 320 equals 30x. When I divide, I get x equals 10.6 repeating. But a little easier way is you could just stay within the first triangle and see I have that 30 to 10 to that piece and that 32 to x. Same thing. And you'll see the line. 32 times 10 is 320 equals 30 times x. Same thing right there. It's a lot faster. Whatever way your brain processes it, whichever way you see it best for you, that's how you do it. Okay? Notice on number 10, it's already lined up. X and J, Y and K, and so forth. So we know this corresponds to that, the bottom, 13x. Okay, 13 is a small one. 10 corresponds to that. Now you might already see the shortcut. The big triangle is twice the small one. So you should see this is already going to be 26. But 10x equals 260. X equals 26. So more than one way to do it. No one right way. Okay? Whatever works best for you. Okay, are these similar? Wow. Are these triangles similar? All right? If yes, write the similarity statement, and here they are. Okay? So first off, note that this is not written the same way. Okay? So you gotta be careful. A and U, because they both have 1. B and V, and then C and T. Okay? Now, what do we have? We have this angle right here and this angle right here, and we have two sides on either side of it. Okay? Now, technically, we already have the answer of AA similarity, but let's pretend that we did not have two angles and we only had one. How would we do the math on this one with all the sides? Well, notice AB is 16. And so AB corresponds to UV, which is 24. We're going to test this. And then BC, which is 14, corresponds to VT, which is 21. And that leaves us 12 and 18. Now, there's a few ways to do this. We can cross multiply all these, okay? Or we can turn them all into decimals. So that's a quick way to do it. So watch. If I do 16 divided by 24, I get 0.6 repeating, 2/3. If I do 12 divided by 18, I get 2/3. If I do 14 divided by 21, I get 2/3. So they are all equal. Okay? Now, because of that, I could say yes by side, side, side. I put it in the wrong place. Okay? But I also have side, angle, side. Around that angle and around this angle. So I actually have multiple ways of proving this. And I already have my ABC, UVT before I even got to my statement. Right? Number 12, like we already talked about. And remember, on the 11, technically, it was yes because of this. But we have AA similarity right there. Now, we just go in order. From 1 to 2 to none. So ABC. 1 to 2 to none. DEF. Follow the roadmaps. All right, so for this one, obviously I'm looking for side, angle, side because I have side, side, and angle in between. But I need to check the numbers. So I'm going to kind of rewrite this one to look the same way. So WY is right here. WX is right here. So I have 36, 24, those two, and 20 and 18, like so. So again, I could cross multiply and see if they're equal. Let's do it that way this time. 24 times 20 is 480. 36 times 18 is 648. So that is a no. I could have also done 36 divided by 24, 1.5, and 20 divided by 18, 1.1, repeating. So this is a no, which means this is a no. And I don't have to answer anything else because it says if yes. Okay, now we know right here that we share this angle. Okay, because we have the big triangle, RTU, and we have the small triangle, STL. All right, so we know T is common to both. We have no numbers, so the only thing we could be going for is AA. And since we have parallel lines here, we know corresponding angles are right here. So therefore, we have yes by AA similarity. And then if you just follow the order, RTU is similar to STL. All right, last page for Unit 8. If RU is 8, says right here, and US is 14, TV is X minus 1, and VS is 17.5. Well, remember the trick I taught you. You can just make your fraction bars right there. 14 over 8 equals 17.5 over X minus 1. Remember, you could have also done it this way. 14 over 17.5 equals x over x, 8 over x minus 1, you would still get the same exact cross multiply. I'm going to put this in parentheses to make sure I get 14x minus 14, not 14x minus 1, equal to 8 times 17.5, which is 140. Going to subtract 14. Sorry, add 14. Silly me. Which is 154. And when I divide by 14, I get x equals 11. Now notice, pay attention to directions, it also says find TV. So if I plug 11 in right here, TV is 10. 11 minus 1. Always read your directions. Make sure you know what's going on. Okay? In a triangle, the ratio of the measures of the sides is 3 to 3 to 8. And the perimeter is 392 inches. Find the lengths of the three sides of the triangle. Okay, so let's think about this. We have a triangle, and it's 3 to 3 to 8. That does not look drawn to scale, but just work with me here. Well, if I add those numbers up, I get 3 plus 3 is 6 is 14. So that's perimeter 14, way too small. If I would double it, 6 and 6 and 16. Okay, well, that's going to be 28. So obviously this, I don't want to do this guessing and checking all the way up because it would take forever. But notice, this is 3 times 2, 3 times 2, 8 times 2. Okay, I could keep doing that. So instead of trying to just guess the number, I could do 3x, 3x, and 8x. 3 times some magic number, 3 times some magic number, and 8 times that magic number. So notice I did times 2 times 2 times 2. I'm trying to find out what to make this. So therefore, 3x plus 8x equals that 392. This is instead of having to guess and check all the way through. So that gives me 14x equals 392. Divide by 14, x is 8. But notice it doesn't say find x. It says find the measures of all three sides. So 3 times 8, sorry, 28, my bad. Losing my mind. 28. Okay, so this would take me a while to multiply by 2, multiply by 3, keep going. So 3 times 28 is 84, 84, and then 8 times 28 is 224. 17, find x. Again, you can just do a little trick right here. 9 over x equals 15 over 5. Now, if you notice, this is just 1/3, okay? 15 divided by 3 is 5, so 9 divided by 3 is 3, if you see the shortcut. Otherwise, it's 15x equals 45 divided by 15, x is 3. And again, same trick here. Put everything in parentheses. This over that. Oh, my bad. Got ahead of myself. In this case, notice we have x's and y's. So notice how it says this is equal to this. So we have 2x plus 4 equals 3x minus 1. Okay, and since all these lines are parallel, I can do the same thing with the y's. 3y equals 2y plus 2. So here I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, which means I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I get x is 5. Here I'm going to subtract 2y, and I'm done. Y equals 2. And we are done with Chapter 8 review.